Hello there. My name is Nick. I'm the founder and CTO of a little venture studio called Modern Mantra. We're focused on helping digital creators on a spiritual path. And today I'm going to talk to you about all things artificial intelligence. So how did we get here? Over the course of the last several years, we've been doing hands-on consultation around venture design, UI, UX, web, and app development for a number of different companies across a number of different industries. And after going through several of these consultations this year, I've developed what I am calling the Founders AI Hero's Journey. So if you're looking back at 2022, it was kind of business as usual. And then we had ChatGPT launch. It is the fastest piece of software in human history to reach 1 million users. And it was a big holy shit moment for a lot of different companies. So I witnessed, by people reaching out to me, a lot of entrepreneurs very quickly aiming to take action. They're seeing the gaps and holes within their software. They're seeing the gaps and holes within their teams, within their companies, within their industry. And they all rush to take action, build an app, be the first to integrate AI into their existing services. Kind of came to the realization that they might have been moving too fast, bringing their stress down just a little bit as new tools came out, embodying the visions that they're seeing, taking acceptance of the shift, and now we're here. A lot of people have went through this as founders through this hype cycle very quickly and rapidly, and now they're asking themselves, what now? And my hope is that I can answer some of those questions today and introduce some frameworks to help us navigate this brave new world. So a couple of these frameworks I wanted to touch on. The first is the entrepreneur ladder. I believe that any great entrepreneur or digital creator is built like a ladder. On one side, you have the traits. I have the traits of waking up early in the morning. I have the traits of honesty, of being the first into meetings. On the other side of the ladder, you have beliefs. I believe that we can build a billion-dollar company. I believe that the world is fundamentally going to change due to AI, and we're here to embrace it. And in the middle of those, we have skills. Right? I'm a web developer. I'm a CTO. I'm a great public speaker, et cetera, et cetera. And we need to have the whole ladder in balance. Even if you have all the skills in the world, but your beliefs are no good, you can only go so high. And simultaneously, your traits, if those are not in resonance with what you want to create, your ladder won't grow. You won't be able to climb as high. Now, AI is coming like the snake, and its goal is to swallow all of the skills. It has already done so in many ways with image generation through DALL-E, through copywriting with things like ChatGPT and other interfaces, but inevitably, the Anaconda of AI is coming to encompass all of the skill sets that are out there in the world and is on a mission to do so. So I want to introduce another framework in the way that AI is going to affect it. So the vast majority of ideas kind of start within our heads over here on the left side, and then they go to die. And that's because a lot of people don't have the skills, they might not have the connections, they might not have the capital, they might not have the time, a lot of different excuses to create the thing that they ultimately want to manifest. Now, in the world of AI, right, we have all these skills that are basically standing between us, all these different people, all this different capital. And I fundamentally believe that the AI gap or the idea gap is going to very proactively be filled by artificial intelligence and create a world that inevitably everything will be instantaneously manifestable. I believe there's going to be billion-dollar companies driven by one person because of the fact that you no longer need hard skills to fill this gap. You're not going to need access to people. And for lack of a better metaphor, everything that we create will be at the speed of thought. You're already seeing this happen with image generation. You're seeing this happen with copywriting. You're seeing this happening across many different parts of the industry. And I believe this will continue to accelerate to the point where one person, just by simply thinking something, will be able to instantaneously manifest it with AI filling that gap and building that bridge. So how does this actually manifest into the real world? OpenAI, the people behind a lot of these key innovations, actually came out with a paper detailing what the exposure is of different jobs across the world to their language model. So at the very top of this list, you basically have the exposure here on the right. The higher the number, the more exposed. You have telemarketers, English teachers, professors, political scientists. We have business teachers, and interestingly enough, right here at the bottom, mental health counselors. So you can think of exposure as the possibility for AI to heavily influence, or depending on the level of exposure, eventually replace these specific roles. And that doesn't only apply to language models. It also applies to their image models too. The very top here, you have interior designers. You can check out Interior AI. My buddy Peter Levels made it. Absolutely incredible. He's doing like $500,000 a year on it. And it basically just allows you to take a picture of the inside of your room and allow somebody to interior design it. You have civil engineers, mathematicians. You can effectively use AI today as the world's greatest math tutor. And interestingly enough, for anyone in software, you have software developers and web developers also on this list. For lack of long story short, both of these jobs are very exposed. This is my background. And frankly, ChatGPT in its current format today, as well as GitHub Copilot, are some of the greatest software engineers in the world. And what's happening in software engineering has already been actively disrupted by no code and will continue to do so with the adoption of artificial intelligence. So if you find your job or your potential niche in your business on these lists, I would pay very close attention. So what does this mean? Today, 80% of the workforce has 10% of their work tasks exposed to GPTs, generative pre-trained transformers. That means that 4 out of 5 people, at least 1/10 of what they do every day, is exposed and influenced by these learning models. That also means about 20% of workers today, over half their tasks are fully exposed and potentially could be replaced by AI. That means almost 1 in 5 people, half of their entire workdays, can be fully either supplemented or automated by artificial intelligence today. That's with today's technology. That is not in the future. That is with what we have off the shelf today. So what should you do as an entrepreneur? I'd begin by identifying key areas of your business or life which are exposed, which I'll teach you how to do in the next slide. And I would also ask ourselves a very honest question, which is, if we started our company today in the age of AI, not 2 years ago, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, what would I do differently? Because there is somebody asking that question somewhere in the world, and they will come up with a solution. And that's where the potential risk as well as innovation lies, which I'll go into even more. Number 3 is generate SOPs. Be very on top of creating standard operating procedures for everybody in your company. Based on our experience, the companies that are best suited to adopt AI are the ones that have very well-documented SOPs, documentation across the board. Number 4 is befriend the AI, be ahead of your competition. Number 5 is upskill your workforce, and I'll touch on how to do that at the end of this presentation. So first thing is mapping your exposure. So I created this chart where on the left side we have the amount of exposure for specific roles. So 100% means it is fully exposed to AI and can be influenced by it or supplemented. And then on the other axis, I put confidence. So this is my confidence score for AI to do this task deliberately. So these are actually all the different roles that we have within Modern Mantra. You have software engineers, which are very exposed, but I don't have a high level of confidence for that person to create me the best software. Then again, we have copywriter, which is very highly exposed and have a very high level of confidence in its ability to execute. Personal tutor, there are certain people go for mentorship at this point in time that fill this gap. But for the vast majority of things, I go straight to AI to actively tutor me on things. As well in brand design, we've basically created a pipeline that will actively implement different tools to help us create brands faster. So what I would encourage you to do is to map the different roles within your company. Not only in terms of the exposure, and obviously you can look at the paper for this, you can also look at the tooling that's out there, potentially even integrate the team into this activity, but do so sensibly. But I would go out and just map this for the different roles in your company, and I'd also just be honest as to how much confidence you have in these AI toolings to do the job effectively. Even though some people might have a high degree of confidence for the AI copywriter, other people might not. And that's okay too, but be honest with yourself as to where this lies. And also pay attention, because once you have high exposure, like for example, graphic designer, for a copywriter, and now for a musician, because there's some bangers being dropped by AI musicians right now, and there is a move from low confidence and high exposure to high confidence, that's where the real innovation lies. This is where DALL-E came out of nowhere. And suddenly everybody doing graphic design was kind of taken aback. We went from having like 50,000 great graphic designers to now having 1 billion. We went from having maybe 150,000 great copywriters to now having multiple billion. And now with the launch of the bangers that the AI Drake and Weekend are putting out, we went from having maybe a couple hundred really great musicians to now having potentially a billion of them. And when things move from low confidence to high confidence on this curve, that's where the innovation lies, that's where the risk is, the opportunity, and potentially disruption. I really think it comes from the emerging of these new UX interfaces. So it's definitely something to be aware of, both for the roles inside your company and in your specific offering industry in general. And what does this really mean? I believe that this is the creation of digital twins. So you can think of the musician, that is the AI Drake, as a digital twin of his essence. Copywriter, I can spin it up so that it is my favorite poet who is writing it. Graphic designer, you can also prompt it to be Picasso. What's effectively happening is when we figure out the UX gap and how to properly interact with these different artificial intelligence models, we're effectively making digital twins for whatever it is we feel called to inside of the AI metaverse. So, pay attention to these innovations. And when the digital twin emerges, that can potentially help you in certain ways, or potentially supplement or replace what you are doing. Please pay very close attention. So what are some quick wins to actually get our businesses up and moving towards more AI integration? First thing is I would introduce an AI budget for upgrading your workflows, being very clear to your workers, like, hey, we are actively embracing AI as a company, and providing a level of budget so people can go out and try different tooling is a great thing to do. I would also introduce AI Week to your company, maybe just one day where you can block out and give them the full freedom to dive into artificial intelligence and allow them to share their findings the following Monday. I find this to be a good flow, and it creates a sense of community and a sense of, kind of collective research into how these things can influence our workforce. And by having our coworkers and our employees share what they have found, they will inspire others to do the same, and it will allow us to begin adopting this technology very safely. Some other quick wins. One tool that I've been experimenting a lot with is called Ingest AI. So basically you can connect your databases or your knowledge bases to an AI and create a chatbot off of it. So you can begin to talk to it directly, you can interrogate it and do a bunch of other stuff too. Please be mindful of data privacy. If you happen to have, like, for example, the wages of your employees, that is a part of the exposed ingest, and somebody asks a question about somebody else's wages, for example, they may get a response. Is definitely something to keep in mind. Another great tool is called Tango. So this is an automated SOP maker. It basically follows the clicks of what you're doing on the internet to automatically generate high quality documentation and SOPs for what you are doing. It's a great way to go from somebody who isn't really comfortable making SOPs to moving to somebody in a company who does very quickly in a very high quality manner. And then number 3, ChatGPT. $20 a month, no brainer for your workforce. Share the password if you need to, and please actively embrace this. This is incredible co-founder. It's an incredible co-marketer. It's a force of nature because it has the collective intelligence of the entire internet embedded into one neurocortex. And then if you want some other quick wins, I'm going to shamelessly plug myself. We are offering free consultations for your company or community. I'm also willing to give a webinar for a group of people. In exchange, we get to record it, post it to YouTube, as well as allow me to plug my course. And we're going to be doing a bunch of free lectures in Lisbon, all over, and as well as the internet, possibly even doing this in New York and London too, over the next several weeks. And we are going to be kicking off some paid cohorts for businesses starting in the middle of June. So if you are interested in plugging in your workforce or anybody else to learn the fundamentals of how to upgrade through artificial intelligence embrace, we are going to be doing some very deliberate education around these subjects and creating some custom content for businesses that's specific to their domain. So what is the goal of all this? We want to take the exposure that we have to artificial intelligence systems today, and we want to turn that into leverage. We want to put you in the position of companies that will be actively embracing this technology, not standing in fear of it, to hopefully create new opportunities for you and the missions that you are collectively on. So please feel free to follow along. My name is Nick Sarafa. We are Modern Mantra, and if you want to sign up and get updated on the evolution of the course, please feel free to do so. And also through this link, you can book a call with me, and I will show up and share some knowledge and some industry-specific tips and tools to help you on your evolutionary journey through this incredible time that we are going through. Thank you so much for your attention, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.